Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Eve coming to y'all with another episode of Hit the Sled. Before we get started on this episode, subscribe to my YouTube channel at Hit the Sled. And also, you can follow me on Twitter at Hit the Sled Pod. And also, you can follow me on TikTok at Hit the Sled. The Commanders, unfortunately, their season is over. Washington Commanders lose to the Philadelphia Eagles by a score of 55-23. This is a humbling defeat. This is a defeat that if I'm in the Commanders organization, this tape, this film will let me know exactly where I need to go, how and where I need to develop this team. Credit to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles were dominant up front on the offensive, defensive lines, and at the skill positions where they needed to be dominant. They were dominant on the offense and defensive lines. They have a dominant receiver in A.J. Brown, and they have a quarterback who he gets the job done. He's a good player. He's a very good player. Jalen Hurts, I'm not going to sit here and say Jalen Hurts is a bum. He's not a bum. But the Philadelphia Eagles are where the Commanders are going to be in the next couple seasons. The Commanders, let's start here. As far as the stats of the game, credit to the Philadelphia Eagles again. You got to start with the offensive line and the production of the offensive line, and which means you got to go straight to Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley had 15 carries for 118 yards and 3 touchdowns. Coming into this game, I talked about how Saquon Barkley, for the Commanders to win this game, they would have to slow down Saquon Barkley, control him, not give up the explosive plays. And that's exactly what the Commanders did. The Commanders gave up a lot of big plays to Saquon Barkley. And you got to credit that Eagles offensive line, because the way the Eagles offensive line went about getting those big plays is exactly what I told you the Commanders had to stop. The first touchdown by the Philadelphia Eagles was on a big play, was on a 60-yard run. And again, there's no secret the way the Eagles were going to come out and try to attack the Commanders. They came out, they ran a toss play, and I can't wait to show you the film again. And the same thing that I told you the Commanders had to do, which was set the edge. I've been saying that since the first week of the season. I've been saying that since I can't remember. Early part of the season, they have not been able to set the edge and stop people from running outside on them. Ever since, to be quite honest with you, the Baltimore Ravens was the first team I can remember. And I'm part of the offseason is going through all 20 games of the Commanders and going through each one of those games and rehashing as to exactly where they need to develop, where they need to get better. But in this instant, they could not stop the run. They could not stop people from running to their edges, running outside on them. And the Eagles, credit to them, they attacked them. They attacked the edges of the Washington Commanders defense in every which way they can. They have receivers, tight ends running outside. Saquon, of course, running outside. Passes outside. They said, we're going to attack the edges because they can't handle our tackles at all. So that's something that I'm going to talk about a little bit later as to where the Commanders need to get better. So credit to them. Jalen Hurts, he went 20 for 28, 246 yards and a touchdown. He played a good game, man. Jalen Hurts played a very good game. He ran the ball 10 times for 16 yards. Well, those were just mainly push things and stuff like that. They did not try to run him too much, even though he scored a touchdown on a quarterback draw. He played good, man. So credit to him. A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown had a very good game. 6 catches, 95 yards. A lot of A.J. Brown's damage came in the first half. He caught a critical 4th down play on Marshawn Lattimore, and that's going to be something moving forward. Marshawn is a highly competitive guy. Loss is cool. The Commanders, they were not very good in the turnover margin also. I'll be remiss if I don't say that. The Commanders had 4 turnovers. They had 3 fumbles, and Jaden threw a pick, but that was at the end of the game. He was trying to give Terry McLaurin a chance. They had 4 turnovers. You're in an NFC championship game. You're not going to beat a very good football team like the Philadelphia Eagles turning the ball over 4 times. Their game plan to start off the game, which is to hold the ball, like I said, time of possession, shorten the game, actually was going well until the Eagles start jumping out on them. And we never defensively got a stop that we needed. We never did. We did not ever, and at no point did we get a critical stop. Only maybe I could suggest in the in the second half, they got a critical stop, but we got the ball back and ended up giving up a sack to Jordan Davis, which put us in long yardage. And the way the Eagles were playing defensively, which was they were playing coverage. Vic Fangio, credit to him, he decided that we're going to play coverage. We're not going to give these guys opportunities to bust coverage, to do anything crazy, and it was extremely difficult. So credit to the Eagles, man. The Eagles deserve to win this game, and they're going to the Super Bowl. So credit to their coaching staff, credit to the players, credit to their owner, Jeffrey Lurie. They're going to the Super Bowl, and we're not. Now, as we move forward, what's needed really quickly? In my opinion, both sides of the ball on the offensive defensive line need some severe upgrades. In my opinion, both defensive ends, Dorn Armstrong, he's above average, a good player, but he should not be a consistent full-time starter for your football team. He's not physical enough. And when you're playing against the Philadelphia Eagles, up front, especially at the defensive end position, you have to have guys that can play that side of the ball with physicality. And the Commanders do not have that right now. Dante Fowler, he's a situational pass rusher. Dorn Armstrong, he's a guy that plays about 20, 30 snaps a game. He should not be a full-time starter. And teams towards the end of the year just knew we got to attack their edges. That's where we're going to get. That's where we're going to give the most work, bang for our buck. And they sure did. I believe Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, real discussions. Mostly Jonathan Allen showed me a lot coming back. He really figured out. He played really well down the stretch. We're going to look at him some more. But Deron Payne, I don't think he fits what Dan Quinn and his defense, what they want to do up front. I don't think so. I think if Deron Payne's money, that cap situation, if they can move on from Deron Payne and it doesn't cost them a lot of money, I think they're going to do it. Because I don't think Deron Payne fits what they're trying to do, what they want their defensive tackles to do. He does not fit. So that's something that we're going to be talking about later during the offseason. The next point for me that needs to be worked on is the offensive line. The offensive line, to me, it's not good enough. They're not good enough up front. The center is good, but the two guards, they're not good enough. Now, are they going to be able to make these changes? I'm just letting you know what I think. Offensive line-wise, other than Brandon Coleman and the center, the guard and right tackle can easily be replaced. Not easily, but they need to be replaced because they're not at championship level. I'm sorry. When the Washington Commanders are going to be competing for a Super Bowl, the guard and right tackle will not be on that starting offensive lineman. They won't be there. They're not good enough. Second, a running back is needed. Brian Robinson, I've said this before, and I'm not going to disrespect that man because that man is an NFL player. He's a professional football player. He made it somewhere that I never got to. But through my years of watching National Football League and watching dynamic and just watching on the same field, Saquon Barkley do his thing, be a galvanizing force for a football team, Brian Robinson is not that guy. They're going to have to find a more better dynamic running back than Brian Robinson as the starter. Austin Eckler, he is good at what he does. He did have a turnover today. He tried to make a play and fumbled. And so it's going to be some things they're going to have to make a decision on. Brian Robinson, I don't think he's the future. They're going to have to find a better back. Where they're going to have to find that back, they can find a back in the draft. But I don't think Brian Robinson is the back. When they get to humming, Brian Robinson would not be the back to lead them to the Super Bowl. I think, in my opinion, they need a second receiver. I think they need a second receiver next to Terry McLaurin. De'Ami Brown, he's okay, but he's not a dynamite receiver where if they try to take away Terry, the second receiver will kill you. Just like Devontae Smith is there for A.J. Brown, for Jalen Hurts. A tight end, Zach Ertz. He's past his prime. He's in his 11th year. Now, granted, man, Zach Ertz had one of his best games, man. He ended up with 11 catches, 104 yards. He was outstanding today. But in my opinion, they need to upgrade a tight end. Now, I don't know whether or not they're going to draft. They can afford where they're going to be drafting at. The Commanders are going to be either 29 or either 28 or 29 draft, picking in the first round. A tight end might be there. A Coastal Loveland should be there. Probably will be there. They're going to have to think long and hard because Jalen's going to need a tight end. So they're going to have to replace the tight end. Cynic is not the guy. Bates, he might not make the team next year. So they got to upgrade there as well. So if you look at it, other than quarterback, they need to upgrade at every position. They need to upgrade at every position on offense other than quarterback. I should tell you how great Jaden Daniels was this year. Jaden Daniels was able to lead his offense to the NFC Championship game, and Cliff Kingsbury was able to use the offensive skill that he has to be scoring close to 30 points a game and get to an NFC Championship game with that amount of skill play. That should tell you the coaching job that Cliff Kingsbury did on offense. And that should tell you how good Jaden Daniels was. But they need to upgrade everywhere. That's why it's going to be interesting. When we move to defense really quickly, defense, like I said earlier, they need to upgrade at defensive end. They need to replace both defensive ends. They need to add some more strength up front of that defensive tackle position. Johnny Newton, he's a good player. He's going to get better. Johnny Newton's going to get better as he gets more and more professional rank. You got to remember, he also missed all the offseason because he had that Jones fracture in his foot. He had to have surgery for him, both feet. So he's going to get better. After a professional offseason of physical, getting weight room, getting development, he's going to get better. Linebacker position, we got a stud in Louisville, man. Frankie Louisville is an all-pro, second-team all-pro, along with Bobby Wagner. Man, I'm going to tell you something, man. Bobby's getting old. I don't know if Bobby coming back next year, man. I don't know if Bobby Wagner coming back. And if I'm Bobby Wagner, I might want to play one more year, but is my body going to allow me to play one more year? Bobby getting long in the tooth, man. Can we afford to have Bobby again for another 17 games? Can his body hold up for 17 games again next season? I don't know. But Bobby's the first jacket. He's the first team. He's the first Battle Hall of Famer. He's a gold jacket guy. Man, Bobby, man, he did a hell of a job for us. So if Bobby retires, then that means they got to replace Bobby Wagner. That's a linebacker position right there. Now, luckily, we got Louisville. They drafted Joel McGee. So we're going to see that. They got to find a way to replace Bobby Wagner if he retires. Now, you go to the secondary, they need a second corner next to Lattimore because St. Juice ain't the guy. Sandra Steele, it's a nickel. He's too small. Man, A.J. Brown was just out there drifting on him. I love Mikey, man. Mikey's from a Michigan man. Outstanding team guy. Great. He's going to be great for us moving forward. But they just not there yet. He got to move back inside where he belongs. Got to move back inside. So they need a second corner. That's going to be something right there. Safeties. The safety position, man, Jeremy Chin, hey, man, he did a hell of a job for us, man. That's somebody they should look to bring back. Martin, he did a good job as well. Man, that safety position, so they don't really need, of course, you can always use the upgrade, but as far as the safety position, it's going to be tough. They don't need much development in the safety position. So when you look at it, in my opinion, they need a total upgrade everywhere. Now, the strengths, they got about 7 picks. They don't have a 4th, and I believe they don't have a 4th and a 5th round draft pick. So they're going to have to find a way to get some more picks, to be able to draft some more players. But that's also something, because where they're picking at in the draft, they could be able to, people want to trade up, they can move down and be able to accumulate more and more picks. Man, because they're going to need it. And also, the Commanders are going to be at least $100 million under the cap. That's going to be something right there. They got to spend a lot of money on some free agents, man, to bring some help in here for Jaden. Offensively, defensively, the upgrades are paramount. They know they got a quarterback on a rookie contract because they got to run. They got to go for it now before they pay Jaden. Because when they pay Jaden gonna be getting close to $70 million a year. Yes, that's what I said. $70 million a year. 4 years from now, Jaden Daniels, if he continues to play the way he's playing, Jaden Daniels will be getting close to over $300 million guaranteed money. Yes, that's what I said. $300 million guaranteed money. That's how much Jaden Daniels will be getting. So when you look at it, they got to go for it now before they have to pay Jaden. The one thing about paying Jaden, though, and going for it now is that if they go for it now, they could try to win something big right now. Kind of like with Seattle. At least get one Super Bowl. And then when they pay Jaden, and Jaden making like $70 a year, Jaden Curry, we already seen that he can carry the load. He's only going to get better. So when you look at this thing is in front of us. It's a big offseason for the Commanders. It's a huge offseason for Commanders. It's a big opportunity to get better real quick. Because be guys, they're going to be players who want to play with Jaden Daniels, especially offensively. They're going to want to play for Cliff. They're going to want to play for Jaden Daniels. They're going to want to be on that team because they feel as though Jaden can lead them to the Super Bowl. And I think he can too. So it's going to be important, man, that we get this thing up and going. This offseason is going to be critical, and I'm looking forward to it on Hit the Sled. I am looking forward to it because this thing here is going to be huge. It is going to be big. We got a big offseason ahead of us, a huge offseason ahead of us. But that being said, I just wanted to let you know what are my thoughts after this loss, Philadelphia Eagles. Again, the Commanders lose 55. They lose 55-23 to the Philadelphia Eagles. Credit to the Eagles. The Eagles got the win. They're going to the Super Bowl. Now, I'll be rooting for the Bills, and I do not want the Eagles to win the Super Bowl. I'm telling you now. I don't want none of them dudes to win nothing the way they were showing off today. But that's just a competitor in me. So, man, I'm grateful to everybody watching me. That being said, I'm grateful to everybody watching me on Hit the Sled. Man, we pushing close to 200,000 views. Man, I'm truly appreciative of all y'all watching me on Hit the Sled. The off season don't stop for me. Well, I'm going to be breaking down this video, breaking down this film for y'all, the offensive film, the defensive film. And then I'm going to let you guys, again, as this off season goes on, where everybody stands, where we moving from here. Because it's going to be critical. It is absolutely going to be critical how the Commanders go about continuing the football team. Again, I'm grateful and thankful for all y'all watching me on Hit the Sled. Man, the season don't stop. Man, I'm blessed. I'm truly blessed for all y'all watching. Keep watching. Keep staying close. Man, I'm looking forward to this week, showing y'all what happened, showing y'all where the Commanders need to be upgraded at, showing y'all how they can go about doing it, and just showing y'all exactly what's needed moving forward. Man, I'm blessed. I'm grateful to y'all watching me. And that being said, peace. I'm going to see you when I see y'all.